Hi everyone, I'm Law of the West, and in this Versus episode, I'm going to be going over what the differences are between the Mark I and Mark II Super Hornets. So with that said, let's get right into it. Both ships have the same number of weapon hardpoints, but all of the Mark II's guns are at least one size larger than what the Mark I has. So the Mark II has two size 4 weapon mounts on the wings instead of the pair of size 3s that the Mark I has. The Mark II has a nose turret that can be outfitted with two size 3 guns, while the Mark I's chin turret carries a pair of size 1 weapons, although it can be removed and replaced with a single size 3 gun. And the dorsal turret for the Mark II holds two size 3 weapons, while the Mark I's default turret can hold a pair of size 2s. The Mark I can also be outfitted with a size 5 mount that allows it to affix a single size 4 weapon onto it. The original Super Hornet carries a complement of 8 size 1 missiles that it keeps mounted onto 2 customizable racks, while the Mark II has 8 size 2 missiles that are stored in the belly of the ship on a pair of non-customizable racks, and it has 8 additional size 1 missiles that are located on the dorsal turret. When it comes to the components, the Mark II has a size 2 power plant and 3 small shield generators, while the Mark I has a single small power plant and 2 small shields. One area where the Mark I has an advantage over the Mark II is with its handling. It's faster when it comes to its SCM, max nav, pitch, yaw, and roll speeds, and has a higher hydrogen capacity. But the bad news is that it's only better by single digits in each category. The Mark I also has 200 more hit points, which, when it really comes down to it, isn't that much. Another thing that helps to define these ships from one another is with the various details you'll find throughout their chassis, some of which are subtle and some of them are not very subtle at all. Now I want to start by talking about the Mark I, and what I really like about it is its flight deck. And that's pretty high praise considering how much time has passed since it was made and how it still manages to stand toe-to-toe with the interiors of any of the other newly built fighter craft. The dash animates as you climb into the seat, and the MFDs unfold to reveal more consoles in a very unique way. And even the canopy is mounted onto a set of rollers that drops down and locks into place as it closes. And all of these animated details really adds a touch of distinctiveness to its overall look. It may look great from the inside, but the outside of the ship has several design flaws. For one thing, it stows its missiles inside of and right behind where the retro thrusters are, and they're just stuck to the side of the lid that opens up. The panel that covers the landing gear has clipping issues with the underside of the ship, and if a wing gets destroyed, it'll also take out one of its landing gear legs. When they built the Mark II, they made sure to address all of these issues. They moved the landing gear off the wing so you could lose one without it affecting the ship's ability to land. Its missiles were mounted inside the ship's belly and hidden behind a pair of bomb bay doors. They reworked its chassis to be a lot more streamlined and made the overall length of the ship even smaller. The Mark II also has even more options when it comes to the Copilot seat. The Copilot can now target enemies and fire the ship's missiles. They can also fly from the back seat. They can also use the star map, plot jump points, and even initiate a jump if they're flying. But there is one very interesting thing about the original Super Hornet, and it seems that it's going to end up being a very unique ship. They've already removed the Mark I's from the pledge store, so you're not going to be able to straight up purchase them anymore. Although you can still buy it from the in-game ship vendors, but who knows how long that's going to last. So is it worth upgrading your old Super Hornet to the Mark II model? Well, the answer to that is yes, especially if you're interested in the stats. The weapons and components upgrade far outweighs the small performance boost that the Mark I has over the Mark II, and the additional features that they've given to the Copilot seat makes it even more useful. But the Mark I is going to end up being a collector's item along with the other vessels like the Mustang Omega, the Sabre Raven, and the F-7A. All these ships are going to be available in-game, but they're going to be very difficult to get if you don't already own them. Well, that's going to be it for this Versus episode. I've been your host, Law of the West. Thanks for watching, and take care.